into three main types. One, it is private sector. Under private sector, we can divide them into two types. One, it is capital firm, and the other one, it is non-capital firm. Under capital firm, so that means here a capital firm means nothing but here who is going to invest the amount. Capital, how it is going to be handled, and who is going to invest. Based on that, we are going to divide them into different types. Okay, one it is sole proprietorship. So this can also be called as what? Proprietary firms. So this we have discussed this. And the second type which comes under capital firm is partnership. And the third type it is joint stock company. And fourth one it is joint Hindu family firms. All these things we will go in detail in the coming next classes. Okay. In detail, we have discussed about the sole proprietorship yesterday. And the fifth one, it is business organizations of new millennium. At present, what are the different types of business organizations are available? Okay. Mainly, according to your syllabus, the first three you need to concentrate more. Okay. And the second type which come under the private sector is non-capitalist firms. Under this, this is mainly utilized for helping each other. People will be coming into a group and they are going to frame and cooperative society, and that will be run as an organization. So for mutual benefits, and those people who are in the same type of services or in the same type of business, they will come into one group and they will form as an society which can be treated as this cooperative society. Okay, so which comes under the cooperative organizations. So all this comes under the private sector type of business organizations. Okay, and the second one, it comes to the public sector. So public sector means you already know that this will be owned by the government. Okay, so under this we will come into existence. One type it is state enterprises. And the third type of business organization is joint sector. So under joint sector, both the public sector and the private sector will come into an merging, or we can say that they will come together and form as an organization. Okay, so these are the main structures, or you can say types of business organizations that we are going to see in India or in any area. In outside India also, you can see such type of business organizations. So already we have discussed about this sole proprietorship now. So what is the meaning of this sole proprietorship? Sole means single, proprietorship means ownership. So single person owning the business is called as what? Sole proprietorship. So this definition is nothing but a person, single individual who is going to own the business. That business is called as sole proprietorship, or sole tradeship, or sole single entrepreneurship. Like this, many names are there, which we can say that as an single for proprietary firms. Okay, and why these people are going to come into this type of business organization is, it is very simple, and it is the oldest form of business organization everyone knows, and it is very easy to form this type of business organization. Okay, and we can take another definition of this also. A business entrepreneur exclusively owned, managed, and controlled by a single person with all authority, responsibility, and risk. Whatever the risk that is going to be uh, coming across in this business, the whole risk is going to face. The whole responsibility of the business is that particular single person who has started the business. So in this manner, you can give the definition of sole proprietorship. I won't go in detail because already we have discussed yesterday itself. So whenever the characteristics are asked, characteristics, features, sometimes characteristic features, they will say whatever may be the word they are going to use, or nature of sole proprietorship, like that. So you are going to write about the points that I am going to display now. Okay. First one, it is ownership will be by a single person. I need not explain again. And the organization and control of that business will be in the hands of that particular person. And capital will be invested by the person who is going to start the business. And unlimited liability. Liability means nothing but what he is liable to pay to outsiders. So whatever the amount that he is going to borrow from outsiders, that is called as what? Liability. So this liability is going to be recovered by the person who has lended loans to the extent of his own property. His means here the person who has started the business. His own property is also going to be taken over by that person who has given loan to this person. Okay,
Ma'am,
that is
ma'am, your voice is not clear, ma'am. Sometimes
clear.
it's breaking.
It's breaking
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes in between.
Yes, ma'am, in between.
now. Now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So unlimitedly, his property will be recovered for paying the loan that he has borrowed. Is called as what? Unlimited liability. In sole proprietorship, that will be taken place. Okay. Everyone is having a right. Those who have lended loan to this particular sole proprietor to take over his property also to recover their loan amount. And another feature is no sharing of profits and losses. So whatever the profits he is going to earn, he is going to enjoy, and the losses he has to bear. And it is very easy to form. So no one will restrict him, and there is no legal status because you are not going to register this business anywhere. Legally, there won't be any right to take action against these people. Okay. So these are the features or characteristics. From these features, we are going to identify the merits and demerits. Merits means nothing but the advantages, and demerits means disadvantages. So what merits we have if we are going to start a sole proprietorship business? One, it is easily started and winding up. Easily winding up. Winding up means closing up. So you have to keep these side headings and you have to write the explanation. Yesterday I have given in detail explanation. So I am going for a shortcut of explaining this. Okay. And the prompt action, whenever action is required, decision making is required, immediately there will be action taken by this sole proprietorship. And the personal interest, because the person who is going to start this business, he will be taking the interest of in running the business. His own interest will make him to start this business. That advantage is there. Because if you are having interest, then only you will concentrate more on the business, no? So that is possible here. That advantage is there. And the requirements of customers or consumers, we are saying that because you are a sole proprietor, you will be directly connected with the customers. So if the customers are directly connected with any business person, they will be knowing the views of the customer and what are the requirements of the customers related with any service or any product, what they are in need of. So that is possible in this sole proprietorship. So that means when the consumers views are going to change, that can be easily identified by this sole proprietorship. Then only it will be possible to him to enter into new businesses, or he can give services to the consumers and he is going to satisfy them. Okay, so that advantage is there. And there will be cordial relationship between these customers, even with the bankers, every person who are in connection with the business. He will be having good relationships that will help the business to grow. And efficiency, hard work, and direct gaining of profit, everything will be done by the sole proprietorship. Going to increase his efficiency to run the business, to earn more and more profits. Because every gain he is going to earn, that will be enjoyed by that person, no? So he will do all those things. And there will be secrecy in business also. He need not reveal anything about his business to anyone, no? So if he want to keep it as secret, he can maintain that. And economy in expenses. Economy means nothing but minimizing his expenses. So where more expenses are taking place, that he is going to identify and he will reduce that expenses so that he can increase his profits. Unnecessary expenditures he is going to cut off. And there will be flexibility and elasticity of business. Flexibility means whenever he want to open his business, he will open. If he want to close his business, he will be closing. Today if he want to take rest, he is going to take rest. If he wants to bring any new changes in the business, he can bring that into his business. So that flexibility will be there, that changes, elasticity means changing will be there. Okay. And the transferability, so this business he can transfer to his heirs. So who are his next generation, for them he can hand over his business easily. There won't be any restriction. So the coming generation of his family can handle this business. If the business is very good, that will be transferred to them. Okay, that transferability is very easy and it can be done in this sole proprietorship. And self-employment, here this person will be uh, having his own employment. So he need not wait for any person to give him employment, to give him salary. So whatever he is going to earn in this, that he can enjoy as profits or as an salary. Okay. So he need not wait anyone to give him job. So that is what it is, an advantage for a sole proprietor. And there will be tax burden will be very less, because in income tax people will not force them to pay more taxes. If you go for any company, if you go for any starting any company like joint stock companies, so their tax burden will be more. They have, according to the increase in profits, they need to pay more taxes. So that burden will be there in case of any companies. starting of any companies. So in the sole proprietorship, it is secrecy is there, no? Even he is going to earn more profits, he may be hiding that, so that he can uh, reduce his taxes. So that advantage will be there, and he is going to concentrate on his wealth. Wealth means his property, how he can increase not only profits, assets he can increase, business he can increase. How to increase this wealth, he is going to concentrate more. Okay, anyhow, he is going to enjoy all these advantages, no? So for that sake, people who are going to start this sole proprietorship, so they will try to increase their business, which will increase their wealth. So that concentration is taken by this sole proprietorships. At the same time, we have demerits also, disadvantages due to starting this sole proprietorship. So one among this is there will be a limited capital, because he is having uh, all people will not have crores of rupees, no? So whatever the amount he is having, even with the 10,000 also, the person can start the sole proprietorship. So depending on his amount with him, owner's capital, we will say that. So based on that, he is going to start the business. So that capital is limited. There is no unlimited, because it is restricted. Limited means restricted. So whatever he is having, to that extent only he can invest in the business. So that is one of the disadvantage we can say. Even though he is interested to increase, grow and grow his business, his amount with him will may not be uh, making him to extend his business. It may not be possible to extend his business, because he cannot borrow more amount from the outsiders. Of course, nowadays bankers are coming forward, but there will be a limit of lending loan by the bankers also. Unlimitedly, they are not going to give you loans, no? So that restriction will be there, which will be reducing your capital that you want to invest in your business. And unlimited liability, as we have said that his own property will be collected by the lender. Even that may be a individual or any bank who is going to lend the amount to this sole proprietor, they will be recovering their loan amount from the property of this sole proprietorship, right? So that risk will be there. That unlimited liability is there, which we can say that it is an disadvantage. And the risks means in case of losses, he has to bear every loss. And his skills may not be efficient to manage his business, because he may not be sometimes educated, highly educated, even though he is educated, so that he can manage his business or extend his business. His skills may not be efficient to that extent. So that lack of skill will be there in case of this proprietorship. And no economies of scale. Economies of scales means advantages. Advantages of large scale production. Scale means quantity, large quantity of production. If he want to produce, so that advantage he cannot take. He cannot have it, because as we said that his capital is limited. So if capital is limited, how he can grow his organization into large quantity? He cannot produce large number of products, no? Or he cannot increase his business, no? So the advantages of increasing the business, whatever the advantages are there, that he is going to lose. And weakness in bargaining and competition, because he is not that good much skilled person, where to bargain, how much to bargain. So everything he cannot know. He may not be having knowledge. And because there is competition, more and more competition in the market, how to handle this competition, how to overcome the competition, that may not be known by this person. And sometimes he may take wrong decisions because he is not having efficient skills. So his decisions may lead him into the risk of losses. Sometimes that may lead to winding up his business. And in case this sole proprietor's death takes place, automatically the business will be closed. If he is not any son or daughters who is going to continue the business. Okay, so in that case, this, even though it is a good business which can be run for long term, due to his death, that may be closed. If efficient people are not there, or if the people, his family members are not interested to continue the business, in such case, in case of his death, the closure of the business will be taking place. So all these things you needed to write. So let us go for the next type, that is partnership. So partnership means I already told you, 2 or more persons are required in this to start a business. But that a definition is given by Indian Partnership. So this act was started in 1932. So these people have, act has been given you a definition for partnership. What is the definition? The relationship between 2 or more persons who have agreed to share profits of a business, profits or losses, we can say that here, of a business carried out by all or anyone. So if 2 or more persons are there, all the persons can run the business, or one person can run that particular business on behalf of others. If 3 persons are there, one person may be running the business, the remaining 2 may be simply they are going to invest and they are going to share the profits or losses of the organization. So all these things in this partnership, we will be having different types of partnerships. How partners will be, that we will see in that types of partnership, before which this is the definition. So that means here in this business, there should be minimum 2 members and maximum it may be 10 in case of private organization. Private partnership, public partnership means it may be 20. Okay, maximum. So all these people will be sharing the profits, sharing the losses, sharing the business, sharing the responsibilities. That will depend upon the agreement. Either all the people are going to take the business responsibility, or one person is going to take that responsibility on behalf of all. Okay, this is the meaning of this definition. So from this, we can derive these characteristics, or we can say that it is features of a partnership form. Can you tell me what are the features that it may be here in this partnership form? Now you might have got an idea now. So first one, it is 2 or more members. From the definition itself, you can derive all these things, all the characteristics. Okay, 2 or more members are required to start any partnership business, and there will be an agreement. So this agreement is called as what? Partnership deed. Deed means DEED, deed. So which may be in written format or which may be in oral format. It is better that it should be in a written format so that legally action can be taken. Otherwise, we don't have any proof that what agreement you did if it is an oral agreement. So always it is better that you go for the written agreement. And unlimited liability, same feature we have in sole proprietorship, unlimited liability. So that means here property of the, if two persons are there as partners, two persons property will be taken over by the bankers or the person who has lent loan. Okay. Whoever lends loan to this partnership business, those people are having that right of taking over the property of the all the partners who are involved in this partnership business. That is what it is called as what? Unlimited liability. And they can have an contact with each other. They can exchange everything. And this partnership deed, if it is in written format, I told you that it is a partnership deed. No, in this, whatever the information that is required is, you have to mention your names, your addresses, how much you are going to invest first of all. What is the percentage of capital that you are contributing to the business? And how you are going to share the profits. In case of losses, how you are going to share. And in case of any death takes place, how the closure of that partnership should be. In case of any is going to handle the whole business, how he is benefited in the form of salary or in the form of any benefit, that should be mentioned. In case if you want to join any new partner in the business, what is the procedure? And in case if your children need to be joined in this partnership business, so what is the position? What is the procedure to be followed? Each and every minute thing should be clearly written in this partnership deed. And that should be registered with the Partnership Act 1932. Register office will be the partnership register office. There you need to register this partnership deed. Then only legally any person can take action. Even the partners, one among, sometimes if one person is going to cheat, the other person can sue against this person. Otherwise, that right will not be applicable here. And registration is not compulsory with the registrar of Partnership Act. But if you are going to register your business, that will be benefiting the partners. And everything will be joint, that means combined. All the partners are going to share the liability. Ownership will be by all the partners. How many partners are there? Everyone is the owner of the business, and everyone is having the right of management of that business. If they are having deed, indeed, if they have given this management to one single person, agreed by all the partners, then that person will be the management. But the liability and the ownership will be the everyone is and there won't be any remuneration. Still, they are having an agreement that if one person is handling, he need to be paid salary, like that. Any condition is there in the agreement. then only that person will be paid salary. Otherwise, there won't be any salary paid to each partner. So they are going to enjoy the profits, whatever they are going to earn in the business. There is no limit, upper age limit, but lower age will be 18 years. Minor cannot be a partner of this. Sometimes there is children will become the business. If they are minors, still they are going to in 18 years. They are not liable for any liabilities. Okay. అప్పు ఏదైనా ఉంటే దానికి వీళ్ళు రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ కాదు మైనర్ పీపుల్. ఓకే, but they are going to enjoy the profits that will be there. And statutory limit or number of partners, as I said, that maximum will be 10 for private sector and 20 for the public sector in case of partnership. That limit is fixed, but minimum is 2. Start the partnership business. And mutual confidence will be there, faith will be there, otherwise they cannot enter into partnership now. So each and everyone will have confidence on the other partners, and they are having faith on them. Then only they are going to enter into this partnership business. If they don't have faith, they cannot become partners. And the non-transferability of interest. If any partner wants to transfer his business to anyone, he cannot do it. As in sole proprietorship, his son or become business owner, no, like that. Okay. And the principle of agency, this will be working as an agency. And the dissolution means the closing of the business. When how this dissolution will be taking place, dissolution or winding up, we will say closure, we will say. When it will be closed means when, if any partner is not interested and he want to exit from the business, is the one case where the business will be closed. And the second case is if any one partner is death takes place. Hello. In third case is that when new partners want to join this business, then also the existing partnership agreement will be closed, and new agreement will be started, that will be registered with the business, and then that will be treated as what, new partnership business, not the previous one. So in all these cases, the partnership business will be closed. And not only that, the business is in loss and they are unable to run the business. Okay, is that clear? That's all. These are the features. I think time is up. I think. What is the time? That is enough for today.